What's up, everybody? This week, we're sitting down with my friend Scott. Last week, it was just me and Spence. We talked about goal setting and everything. This week, I really want to talk about overcoming obstacles and still being successful in your field. And I feel like my friend Scott is a perfect example for that. Would you want to start off by telling us a little bit about your story?
Love to, Tyler. Thanks for the intro.
I love it.
I guess my story in terms of battling adversity really starts my senior year of high school. I was obviously playing with you guys.
Yep.
And I finally, really started to develop and be noticed as a prospect, I guess you could say, for Division I baseball, and ended up getting a scholarship to Notre Dame. And then in the spring, right before season started, I tore my ACL during a practice, doing a rundown with you.
Yes.
And
sorry for that.
It's okay. So this was really the first, big battle of adversity. I was worried. I had a scholarship, and I was worried about the status of that. And I also was obviously very bummed that I had spent 3 years with these guys and didn't get a chance to finish it off and have that fourth season. And felt like we could have really done something great. But it was okay. And that time was, it was my first, like I said, my first time kind of dealing with a big obstacle. But I had this kind of point I was going towards, right? I was going to college. My scholarship was okay. I was going to go play there. They were fine with it. So I got the surgery, and I went through the physical therapy, and that was obviously tough. And I was kind of on the sideline watching you guys play, but it was okay. I got to school, played my freshman year. Didn't play a ton. Was going into sophomore year, and it was looking like I was going to be playing more. I was going to maybe be a starter or have a serious role. And then I had shoulder surgery, right before season, about a month before season, same kind of timeline.
Dude, I totally forgot about that.
That was a bummer, right? Because I felt like, I had battled all the way here. I kind of had to, reset after surgery. You kind of lose a lot of progress. Obviously, you have to rebuild your strength and everything like that. But it was a bummer, and it was really tough. I travel with the team, so sometimes I would stay back and be watching them on the computer or whatever. But it was tough, and I was going into physical therapy every day. I mean, luckily I had some guys that had also faced injuries that I was working with, and we really kind of pushed each other. But it really got tough there a couple times, continuing to force myself to try and battle back and try to get healthy and go into physical therapy every day. But I did it, and I came back, and I ended up, junior year, had a kick year, did really great. Things were looking, swell. The last game of the season, tear my ACL. So that was tough. That was another punch in the gut. At that point, I really had to step back, and for the first time, I had to think about, okay, like, is this something I want to keep doing? Because I'm gonna have to reset again. I'm going into my senior year. I'm gonna have a short timeline to get back to full strength before season. I'm just kind of destroying my body at this point. I want to be able to walk around when I'm older. I had a lot of support, and my family, my friends, you guys, my teammates. They drove me to go back into it, and I came back, and I ended up battling back, being the Friday guy, the number one guy for my senior year, and I had a blast. Tried to come back for another year. Ended up going to grad school, getting my MBA, which was awesome, unbelievable opportunity. Didn't get to play that final year because of just my shoulder kind of got to me, couldn't throw anymore. But I think I learned a lot throughout those three major injuries about just how, no matter how hard it is day to day getting up, you got to force yourself to keep battling and have that goal in mind, kind of what you guys were talking about last week, and keep pushing towards that goal. Obviously you have your long-term goal, and for me that was my baseball aspirations. Ultimately would have liked to play professionally. That didn't work out, but you have to have your short-term goals also, right? And when you get injured, that shifts, right? And those goals change, but you have to stick with them, keep battling on.
Was there ever a moment where you're just like, I'm done? Like, obviously there was a moment you ended, but like, was there a moment like, this is my second big injury, I don't know if I'll be able to come back from this? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, so my shoulder injury, for those of you baseball nerds out there, or I guess, science nerds, it was a slap tear, right? So it was my labrum, and the odds of coming back from a labrum surgery as a pitcher are like pretty slim. Maybe like a third is like generous, right? And so obviously, the doctor told me that. I had known some guys that had gone through it and weren't so successful. There's obviously a lot of stories you hear. You maybe hear about the guys that are successful, but you don't hear about a lot of the guys in the pros, say, that are not so successful coming back from that surgery. But there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so, that was really tough. We tried to avoid surgery. We tried to do the cortisone injections and all that. And And when I finally, they were like, all right, we don't really have another avenue here. We got to go through the surgery. And then knowing that I had such a slim chance coming back from that surgery, that was really tough. But, I mean, I was going to get the surgery. I was going to try it. I didn't really see, at that point in my life, in my head, I was going to be a Major League Baseball player. And I didn't see another opportunity. I was like, okay, well, I want to get there. This is what I have to do to get there. So we'll do it and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid mindset.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just talk a little bit about how much of a mental battle it was as opposed to a physical battle coming back from all of these injuries.
Absolutely. The mental battle is a large part of it, right? You get into a routine with the physical part of it, and it's painful and it's tough to come back, but you get used to it. But the mental battle of not only, getting up and getting up early and going in for, physical therapy before practice and doing that, it's just the drain of, you're being at practice every day, you're watching your teammates going out there doing what you wish you could be out there doing with them. You can't, right? So it's a mental battle for sure, and it's a drain. But luckily for me at Notre Dame, we had a lot of mental health resources. We had a mental conditioning coach actually. He was pretty intense, but he helped out a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the things you did with him?
So with him, I mean, we did a lot of stuff with the team at large. I mean, like before every practice, we did breathing exercises. We would do a lot of, like as pitchers, we would do kind of shadow bullpen. So it was like just getting the visualization in there, getting that piece of it is really important. The thing was just like taking a step back, looking at what you're trying to do, trying to accomplish, and seeing how, working at it every day is going to get you there. And that kind of helps you take that perspective of like, yeah, this is a grind right now, but this is ultimately like, this is what I want to do, and this is going to get me there. And so this hard work that I'm doing is going to pay off in the end.
Yeah.
Do you think you could have had the same level of success that you did if you didn't have that mental coach? Do you think you could have been able to pull it off yourself without having that coach?
I don't know. That's a tough question. I think I was fortunate really my whole life, even when I was, my dad and some of the guys I played with, dads were the coaches growing up. And then I had Brandon, was an awesome coach when I was growing, had the majors in high school. So I got, from what time I was young, I was told the importance of, being mentally tough and how that can affect the game and how that gives you an advantage over just the physical aspect of it. Mm-hmm. But, having a professional mental coach was obviously another step up in that development for me. And so I don't know how I would have handled it, definitely. It's tough because, obviously outside of sports, I've used those lessons and helped me with my, professional life, with my personal life, love life, everything, being able to use those ideas to, work with your breath and work with perspective and things like that. So I guess I didn't really answer your question there, but
no, it's all good.
I think that I would have struggled more, definitely. I think, I had the perseverance. I think I still would have stuck with it, but it would have been tougher for sure.
Yeah.
I feel that.
No, from personal experience, I had an issue with confidence, especially after my personal injuries with baseball. So was that an issue that you faced too, coming back? Is just like, man, maybe I'll never be the same as I was before. And how was that for you?
Absolutely. And I think part of that comes from, when you get injured, you lose a lot of say, you work and you're here, and then you're injured and all of a sudden you're back down here and you got to work just as hard to get back up there. And while you're doing that, everyone else that you're competing against is going up. They didn't drop down, right?
Yep.
And that's tough mentally, right? You got to grind, but you got to be confident in yourself. And I had those doubts, especially because, that first time in college that I got hurt when I hurt my shoulder, I hadn't really proven anything, right? I wasn't an established pitcher, and I was coming back from this injury that I didn't know if I was going to come back from at all. And so my confidence was definitely low at certain points. But like I said, you just gotta work day to day, keep grinding, and you'll get there.
I think it's crazy too because when you came back from that surgery, and then you were top 3 in ERA the next season.
Yeah, something like that.
I know you don't want to brag, but
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a huge deal, especially you going through an injury that you had a slim chance to even play again as a pitcher.
Yeah,
and you played and then dominated.
Yeah, you
didn't just play and you were just one of the guys. When you're one of the guys, you are good. You weren't just another pitcher on the team.
Yeah.
You were the guy. You were like, damn, Scotty's coming in and he's gonna deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's I mean, that's an incredible accomplishment.
Something I'm proud of, and I think it's something that's carried with me and helped me be successful after college. Just that perseverance and the ability to kind of go above and beyond.
Yeah, that's sick.
But how about you, man? I would like to hear about some of your stories. I know you obviously after high school went through quite a journey, baseball wise.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know you had some tough spots in there, and you came out on top, I think. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I mean, I credit baseball for my mindset that I have today, and I wish I had this mindset while I was playing. But I don't know. Growing up, I was always a stubborn player. I mean, you guys know that. Like, I would ask questions, and to be honest, I would do a lot of things coaches would tell me, and wouldn't have success with certain things. Mm-hmm. And then I met this one coach. Actually, I guess it's a duo of coaches. It was Craig Wallenbrock and Robert Venezuela, who is now the Dodgers hitting coach. And they were the first coaches that like really taught me the importance on asking the question, why? Which, to be honest, was an amazing thing in my life, but also it was really bad. Because, I mean, you know it, like nothing against the Majoras or anything. I would ask questions like why, and they would think I would be being defiant. Mm-hmm. I wasn't. I just wanted to know, why are we doing this drill? What is the purpose? And a lot of the times they wouldn't give like in-depth answers. And I mean, from that on, like with all the coaches that I had, like definitely at Cuesta, they were just like, you need to do this. And I'd be like, why? What is the purpose? Like, why does me getting on top of the ball on this tee drill do anything for my swing? Mm-hmm. Can you please tell me why? And they wouldn't. So like, I think asking why was one of the biggest lessons I got, or one of the most important questions I got when it comes to playing baseball, but also in life. If you're just in a job and just listening to people like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this, and you just go through the motions and like not really understanding what you're doing or why you're doing it, you're not getting better, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was what my senior year high school. And then, I mean, I did play 4 years, but I played 4 years, but I bounced around everywhere.
Yeah.
Just because I never found that coach that could answer any of those questions.
Yeah.
You know, like I never played for a coach after high school that essentially was a good coach.
No, I feel
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of my career, people have asked, like, because I could have played one more year, and people have asked me, like, why didn't you? Mm-hmm. And, like, to be honest, I was just done with it. Like,
burnt out?
I mean, not burnt out. And, like, I don't regret stopping playing ball at all, like, ever. But, like, I definitely think I could have played. Yeah. Like, I know I could have played.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
But it's just, like, I understood what it was going to take and realized that's not what I wanted in my life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like...
No doubt, dude. And it takes a mature mind to even know that.
Yeah.
Especially when you've devoted 15, 16, 17, 18 years to one thing, that game.
Yeah.
And to get to that point and be like, I got 1 year left that I could potentially play, but I don't like it here.
Yeah. I didn't like the position I was in. Like, I had other opportunities. I would have been in more debt. So I stopped.
Smart.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't know the thing that was kind of crazy. I didn't know what I was gonna do after that.
Yeah.
Like
that's tough. I feel like a lot of baseball players have that.
Bro, it's funny because even my friend Chase, he just retired from being a professional baseball for 12 years, baseball player for 12 years, and like this is the first time that he's not like going to Arizona as a player, and he's been like going to like film content, and like every time he has said this to me 5 or 6 times, he's like, people say baseball players die twice, and I mean like it's the truth. Like your career's done, whatever level you're at, and then now
you got the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's your life, and then you actually die eventually. But like
it's the truth.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know I was gonna get into filmmaking or anything like that. Like I just wanted to do something that fulfilled me, like how I felt when I hit in the cage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how many hours do we spend in the cage, bro?
So many. So many.
Bro,
Holy
it would be
shit.
7 days a week, 2 hours on top of practice and gym.
And I mean, I didn't see you at COC, but I can speak for myself. Like, I was like the first one in the cage at practice too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel you were the same way because that's how you
100%.
were in high school.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, we spent so much time in there because we wanted to,
Yeah.
more than anything. And like I had a little more success than you did that year as far as like playing time. But I think like even at the beginning of the year, yeah. But I think even at the beginning of the year, like I showed up to the field not knowing if I was gonna play at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was just like I didn't care. You know what I mean? Like I just wanted to be there and freaking get better and hopefully I'll get a shot today.
Yeah, like, I mean, I redshirted my first year because the entire outfield was D1 dropbacks.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, I'm definitely not going to play with 9 outfielders on the team.
Yep.
And there's 3 D1 dropbacks that Coda has already given the spots to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like...
I mean, even that next year, bro, your outfield was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. But the 3 outfielders that were the D1 dropbacks, I mean, actually, out of the 9 outfielders, they kept 6 during the team and redshirted 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had like 14 redshirts.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only redshirt that literally came and practiced every single day.
Yeah.
Every single other redshirt didn't even show up. You know what I mean?
Because not everybody's wired the same.
I think it's important just to realize your situation and know that no matter what situation you're in, you're not stuck.
Mm-hmm.
There's always something better on the other side, regardless of what is on the other side. You might not know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like us stopping baseball, like you didn't know you were gonna get a job at KPMG and then Honda now. Like you didn't know you were gonna move back to LA and pursue your dream of music. I had no clue I was gonna be in video.
Yeah.
And these things just all happen because we just had that mindset of, okay, we're going to just continue on no matter what. You know what I mean?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I learned about adversity is you got to trust yourself. And you have to rely on yourself. And it's okay to lean on others in times that you need support, but you can't rely on anybody else to make anything happen for you. You've got to make it happen for yourself. And that comes from knowing yourself and knowing what your goal is, what your long-term vision is. And once you know the right questions to ask, you'll get the right answers.
Dope.
Ask the right questions. Get
Why?
the right answers.
Ask why.
Do ask why. That's a great one.
Always ask why. I think for me, the main thing is, just staying patient and persevering when you're, facing an obstacle, having a tough time, you're really feeling the grind of whatever you're trying to get done, whether it be work or working out or, whatever it may be. Just staying patient, staying with your goals, and persevering. I think those are the key kind of tenets that have allowed me to, kind of get through the adversity I've faced.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.
I think we're going to end the conversation here. Hopefully you got some value with some of our stories that we told. I want to thank Scotty for making the drive out.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're going to go get some drinks now and just hang out.
Party time, ladies and gentlemen. Listen.